Illustrations will come see this thing 1500, that beautiful double tray number 33 there. Authoritarian Interruption, reviewing Maandamano 25, and they trained our jobs. In this series, I take at least 3 different things that I've seen, read, or heard, and bring them together to form like Voltron into some sort of cohesive rant. Question 1. Is AI adoption pro-liberty? I am looking for potential uses for large language models and other AI for my creative and business ventures. For example, if I take the 3,518 Rantathon posts and feed them into a large language model, could I prompt it with my drafts and other ideas to generate new posts without venturing into the objections I have with how AI content generation sources creations by creatives who have not expressly given permission for its usage in that way? In this case, I'd have directly given it the content for that purpose. Next is content lacking attribution negates the chance for its primary creator to profit from commission acquisition given in the raising awareness of their talents. In this case, I will know that it is based on what I've inputted and tell anyone consuming what it generates that much. Next is that this AI generated content is something that in the past a client would have actually requested a creative to create. In this case, it would be realizing ideas that I may not have had the time to do otherwise, like maybe doing something with one of the 550 drafts that I have on this blog. In the first of 2 Tom Woods episodes in this section, Peter St. Onge comes on and he mentions AI a bit after an economic conversation, and the second one is fully focused on AI by Bob Murphy, who has actually adopted the use of AI himself. And even if you don't plan on using it, or are in a field that's threatened by being replaced by AI, we are all people who have some certain economic interest, and it's worth being educated about how it's being adopted by other people so you can better adapt to the future environment that uses AI. Question 2. Do state governments create augmented insecurity in economic markets? In this section, I do the 28 to 48 days later review of the Maandamano protests here in Kenya. President Ruto and his administration supporters came out defiantly with a convenient focus on the small percent of violent actors, made the usual political overtures to the sanctity and need to protect the police, with little to no mention of the first protest in 2023 over cost of living, which escalated into storming the Senate building in 2024, and now signing into law 3 finance bills that seem assured to lead to another 4th Maandamano protest in 2026, making this an annual thing now. In a speech featured in this section, President Ruto does this sly political rhetoric trick of arguing from the point that you assume that the state has to have a plan. There has to be a plan set by the state there. So before you object to what the state is doing, you have to provide an equally viable plan. But that's at best a logical fallacy, because if I'm eating nothing but 10 cakes a day and sitting on my ass, I don't need to demand that you give me a fully fleshed out and itemized diet plan down to meal times and how to prep everything, plus how I should be able to afford all the gear and gym memberships I would need to engage in a world-class LeBron James-like exercise regime before you can say that it'll probably be healthier for my body if I stopped eating too much cake and maybe went for a walk once in a while. And what's good for the bodies of the animals that created society and civilization is also good for the body politic entities that make up these civilizations, which leads us to the third question of, does obsolescence have to hurt so bad? In this section, I talk about how in an actual free market, people would have researched the coming railroads in the United States of America and not invested into building canals like a year before the railroads came on and made those obsolete. But though governments are businesses, they are corporations, they don't focus on financial profit. Their profit incentive is tied to things like getting votes by claiming you created jobs. In this case, literal shovel-ready jobs. But then when it comes to AI, they have this cost-benefit analysis coming up. So do we protect the jobs of our tax collectors or switch to using AI agents as a less obtrusive way to harvest from our tax livestock?